Hi YouTube, it's Emily. I'm back with a second update on my challenge to read all the books on the 2019 Notables list from the Children's Book Council of Australia. I've been a bit distracted over the past little while reading books that have absolutely nothing to do with the challenge, but I have managed to cross 3 more off the list, although in 2 cases that was because I decided not to finish them. I do want to say that I don't think either book was necessarily bad. It's just, I think one of the issues was that I've been a bit reading slumpy over the past month or so, and because of that I've been a bit more impatient with the books that I've been reading, and so maybe I didn't give them as much of a chance as I would have under other circumstances. The first of my DNF books was Amelia Westlake by Erin Gough, which is a story about 2 girls who decide to publish cartoons in their private school newsletter under the name Amelia Westlake that criticise certain aspects of how the school is run. The 2 point of view characters are Will Everhart, who is a scholarship student. She comes from a poorer background, and so the issues at the school really stand out to her. The second point of view character is Harriet Price, who comes from an affluent family. She's the prefect at the school, she has good grades, she has a perfect girlfriend, basically she has this charmed life, and it takes her a little bit longer to see the issues, and even when she does, she tries to justify them and stand up for her school, because that's what she believes she should do. I was actually quite enjoying the chapters from Will's point of view. She's quite a strong character, she's independent, she has strong opinions that she stands up for, and she's not afraid to say what she thinks. Harriet was, well, she was actually quite sweet, but to the point where it got a bit over the top. And she was taking a really long time to see things that were right in front of her, like the fact that her girlfriend was actually using her. And while I'm sure it was part of her character development to realise these things and to grow from that, I just wasn't invested enough to follow that through. The second book that I didn't end up finishing was Changing Gear by Scot Gardner. This is a coming-of-age story about a teenage boy who's in his final year of high school. He's grieving the death of his grandfather, whom he was really close to, and he has no idea what he wants to do with his life. So he tells his mum that he's staying with his dad, he tells his dad that he's staying with his mum, and he takes off on a motorbike that's not equipped for a long distance journey just to see what happens. My main issue with this is that I really can't deal with characters who do stupid things like forget to take their wallet with them or any ID when they're actively planning to run away. I can kind of understand that he didn't take, well, his phone was broken and he didn't take any kind of replacement. I can kind of get that because he was wanting to cut himself off. But the other things I was just like, why? And while I know that this is the case for a lot of teenagers at that stage in their life, I find characters who are just drifting with no real ambition, I don't find them very interesting. And so that was the other reason I decided to put this one aside. But fortunately, I did finish one book, and it was PS4 Pearl by Eliza Henry Jones, which is another coming-of-age story about grief and loss and trying to figure out who you are in spite of those things. The book is set in a small coastal town in Tasmania, and I really loved the small town vibe. Like, that was really well done. I really felt like everybody knew each other and like I could run from one end of the town to the other in maybe an hour. The story is about a character called Gwen, whose mother and younger brother both died a number of years prior, and she's still trying to come to terms with that and questioning a lot about how her family might have turned out and how she might have turned out if things had been different. Gwen has 2 best friends, Gordon and Loretta, and the dynamic between the 3 of them was a lot of fun. There's a lot of banter. I really enjoyed reading their interactions, and I have to say that the love interest, Ben, he was such a lovable dork. He kept doing really awkward, clumsy things and embarrassing himself, and it was just really cute and delightful, and I enjoyed it a lot. This book is a lot more character driven than a lot of things that I read, and I think for a while I sort of didn't realise that, and I was expecting something a bit more exciting to happen. But if character driven small town coming of age stories are your thing, I definitely recommend this one. As for what's next, I've got 2 more books from the Notables list out from the library to read. The first is The Things That Will Not Stand by Michael Gerard Bauer. It's not on the shortlist, but it is on the Notables list, and it sounds quite interesting. It sounds a little bit like James Joyce's Ulysses or Patrick Ness's Release, in that it's sort of set over one day and the relationships that form between characters during that time. And the second one I have is The Bogan Mondrian by Stephen Herrick, and I have no idea what to expect from this one. Apparently Stephen Stephen Herrick is known for his verse novels, even though this is not one of them, but apparently it's quite poetic. So I'm expecting another character-driven coming-of-age kind of style from this one. Also, outside of the challenge, I am reading Lucid by Christy Fairlamb, which is a paranormal thriller, I think. I've only just started it. I'm still in the first chapter. But that's also a Love Oz YA book, so I'll have a video up about that as soon as I finish it. I've got high hopes for this one. I really hope I enjoy it. That's all for now. I'll chat with you again soon. Let me know if you've read any of these. Bye!